Alright guys, I've tried to record this video 3 times and it's corrupted, but I know how valuable this is going to be, so I want to make the effort. If you're trying to increase your close rate, you want to reduce your time on calls and eventually build a sales system that literally automates itself so that you no longer need sales calls. I believe in sales calls, but if you don't want to do sales calls, this is going to help you take that step in the right direction. But more importantly, short term, you're going to see a massive boost in your close rate. We're going to warm up them leads before they get on a call. I'm going to show you exactly how in this very quick video. So let's walk into it. I've mapped everything out so you can see exactly where we're going, and more importantly, if you've already understood this concept, you've watched videos from me previously, you'll know why this is important. You'll know why this is important so that we actually have a system in place. It's not about what you say on the call. It's not about getting better at sales, because yes, that of course helps as well. But the biggest problem is actually what happens before the call. It's about the leads and how they're showing up and how many of them are actually warm, how many of them are cold, how hot are those leads, how long have they watched you, do they trust you, do they know what you do, like all those things. You want them to be pre-installed. You want to pre-inject them with all of that proof, that information. So when they join the call, it's all about them. It's about asking them the right questions. You understand that by now if you watch my content before. If not, this is still going to make sense to you. So let's walk through it then. You understand that already. The second thing is highlighting the actual trust problem. So if I ask you the question, what makes a cold lead and what makes a hot lead? Think about it. Maybe comment below. I don't know if you want to get involved. Maybe spruce this video up a little bit. But no, in all seriousness, just to highlight it quickly, for me, a cold lead is someone it's not about the amount of time that they've watched of you or consumed of you online. This is where people get confused. They think, oh, people don't buy from me unless they followed me for a year, unless they followed me for 6 months. That's not true, right? Google released the study on the 7-11-4 rule, which is basically 7 hours of content, 11 different touch points over 4 different locations. To summarize it, it basically means they need to consume a lot of you. So yes, that can be time if you only put up 60 seconds reels, which is why you think it takes a year. But for me, it just means a hot lead knows everything about you. They trust you, for one, which is the biggest thing. They know what you do. They know the service you offer. They know the results. They've seen testimonials. They've seen tons of proof and reviews from other people, real people. And better than anything else is like a referral, someone they know that have been through your service, your process before. So they just know you're the right person. You're going to get them the job done, and they feel in safe hands. That's a hot lead. A cold lead is the exact opposite. Someone that doesn't know anything about what you do. They don't trust you. This is the first time, maybe like this might be the first video you watch of me. You don't trust me. You don't know anything about me. You don't know what I've done in the past. So why should you listen to me? All right. And that's what we need to inject into them with specific videos. And more importantly, this specific pre-sell video that you sell them as the Welcome Pack VSL. You send to them before they get on call. It's a must-watch video for them. So the second thing is the customer awareness journey. If you're unfamiliar with this, I'm going to summarize it for you quickly. So you've got problem unaware, then you've got problem aware, then you've got solution unaware, then you've got solution aware, and then you've got product aware, and then the trust is earned, you sell. Okay, you close the deal. It is as simple as that when you summarize it. Okay, so let me break it down very quickly, a little bit deeper. So problem unaware, what does that mean? It basically means, I always give the analogy of, when you go to the doctor, you talk about your symptoms, yeah? You may have come to a conclusion yourself of, I've got this problem, I've got a little itch on my arm. Actually, on topic, so I had a little bit of a problem, right? I didn't know what the problem was, but I knew my arm was swelling up, not just because they're massive, but it was swelling up, and I didn't know what the issue was, right? Then they said to me, you've actually had a bite. You didn't realize you had a bite. That's the actual problem. Now, I could have come to the conclusion I've eaten something that's caused a reaction. So I'm problem unaware at that point. But then problem aware is when you go and get that diagnosis. So that moves you across to the next step. And what happens when you know what the problem is? You can actually look for solutions. But then you're solution unaware. So now you've moved down to solution unaware and you're looking out for solutions to the problem you know you have. And that's why it's important to make sure you diagnose the specific problem. And that's what you do on this video, and we teach you how to do that. So then they're now solution unaware, and now I was like, right, I need an actual solution. So again, in that scenario, the doctor tells me, this is what you need to take it for 4 days, you'll be absolutely fine. And it's cleared up. I'm on my 3rd day now, and I had this bite. I think it's a spider bite or something. Again, problem unaware to the actual specifics. But anyway, I knew it was a bite. I solved the problem. So you need to find out the exact solution. So an example of this for you right now, you might be there thinking, right, I've got a problem. I don't know what the problem is. my close rate is low. That's the symptom. My close rate is not as high as I want it to. Some people show up, they love me, they want to work with me straight away. It's not even a sales call at that point. Some people have no idea what I do. I definitely can't close them on the call. I struggle to go through any salesy questions. I know they're not going to buy from me. They don't trust me. Don't know anything about me. That's a problem, right? But you don't know what's causing that problem. The problem, I'm telling you, it's the lead up to the call. It's the system. It's the marketing that's being fed to them, the sales machine that's feeding them the information, so that when they join up to the call, you want them injected with everything that you need them to know, so they trust you. They turn up, they want to buy. They're all hot leads that you're jumping on the call with. That's the dream outcome, okay? But you would only know to prescribe that certain solution if you realize what the actual problem is. You may think, oh, I just need to get better at sales, if you've misdiagnosed the problem. So that's why it's important to your customers, we diagnose the problem correctly, then we show them the other solutions out there. So I could say to you, right, you've got a sales problem. You could go out there and get better at sales. You could go out there and try and get better leads so they're easier to close. I'm telling you, it's a sales system issue. Once you install this video, you build it for yourself and you install it, you're now only going to be speaking to hot leads. That itself is going to massively jump your close rate better than any objection handling skills that you can learn. So that's what I'm telling you, right? Now you're solution aware. Now you know that you need some form of sales system. But what is the sales system? This is when you finally need to become product aware. I talked to you about the Welcome Pack VSL. That's what we use. We've used it in other businesses. It works. It's easy. Once it's installed, it makes a big difference. It's an instantaneous jump. It's not like going through a coaching program where you have to learn to get better at sales over a year. This is one click. Once it's installed, once you send it to that person, that link, they watch it, they turn up to the call, it's a different person you're speaking to. So it is a very quick reward as well from this process, right? So that's just teaching you the customer awareness journey, whilst also teaching you a little bit about what we do. The fourth thing I want to talk about is traffic to book call to close. That's your current situation right now. That's the current journey that people are going on, the prospect journey. They are basically following you on social media as traffic. You're getting eyeballs maybe from paid ads. If it's paid ads, you're going to be speaking to even colder leads. Then you offer them a book call. You're like chuffed when you get a book call. You get book calls in maybe often. But the problem is there's no process then warming them up, injecting them with the right things that they need to know before the call. That's when you add in the pre-sale video. So it's the difference between a book call and speaking to someone and then trying to close them. It's except this time they book the call, they get fed all the right information, they're injected with proof, they know exactly what you do, they trust you, they jump on a call, and it's much easier to close. So that's how it works, right? Really, really simple to understand. Then the other thing I want to talk to you about is just the mindset shift, the CEO shift. I'll give you a quick story when I realized I had a real problem. And we were scaling PB Academy. So we grew our online coaching company in the fitness space to over 250 plus active clients, a full coaching team of coaches I trained up, and a system, a sales system, which is what I talk about now. I was doing all the sales, right? All the sales calls for this. And bearing in mind, in the fitness industry, the churn rate is really bad. So it's not a great business to run, but the churn rate for us was decent. The LTV on average in the industry is about 3 months. We worked it up to about 6 to 8 months. So the turnover, we were bringing on about 50 new clients every single month. I was doing all the sales to bring on those clients. And that's just 50 new sales. That's not all the calls I had to do. So I realized at one point when I was literally I was really sick one morning, I still had to take those sales because we needed to take the calls to bring in the clients, because we needed to fill up the coaches, because we needed to pay the coaches, and needed to make it profitable for us as a business. So I literally was being sick in between sales calls. And that's when I realized, right, I'm not running a business here. I'm tied to this business as a salesperson. And that was my mindset shift, where I was like, right, if I actually want to run a business and make it a business, I need to really improve the system so it's not heavily reliant on me doing all these calls. And that's where we really systemized everything. We broke everything down into a framework, the pillars I talk about of all the questions you need to ask to have a successful sales call. But more importantly, the biggest thing of all was this pre-sale video, the Welcome Pack VSL. So we send them as a welcome pack, just like a brochure, but it's actually walking them through in a video format where I'm walking them through everything that they need to see before a call to warm them up massively, so they trust me, they trust our business, they want to work with us regardless of who they speak to. So that was the biggest thing for me. And as I talk about that CEO shift, it's the difference between being a salesperson and a CEO is you get your time back. You reduce your time on sales calls. So our sales calls went from an average of about 30 to 35 minutes long, which is still decent, right, for a fitness offer. It's not a high ticket program, but it dropped it down to about 20 minutes. So I literally tested it once. I'd done 5 hours straight of back-to-back calls, 20-minute slots, and I closed 12 out of 15, I believe. I'm pretty sure, I'll have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it was 12 out of 15 in one night. So they proved the system works because they were already bought in pretty much before they joined the call. So it was just a discovery process and then close the deal. It wasn't like a full pitch on the call because they already had that. Close rate jumped up massively. We had over 1,000 sales calls over the last 24 months. We did an 89% close rate, which is unheard of because yes, it's in the fitness space, so it is a lot easier to close when you get things right, and it's not a high ticket program you're selling. We were selling about 200 to 300 pounds per month packages, so again, not massive compared to other industries, but still good compared. It was expensive compared to most other coaches, so and it was automated, so it finally actually brought me out of it and I wasn't stuck in the business anymore. I could have anyone selling that wasn't a salesperson. So instead of paying, because I didn't have the margin in the business to pay the expensive salespeople to come in, because they want to be earning 10, 20 grand a month. What I did have was, even though we built the business up to 30 to 40k a month business, the margin wasn't there per client to actually afford a salesperson like that. So what we had to do was basically automate the process completely. And if you're sitting there wondering, will this actually work for you in your business if you're outside the fitness space? I have actually worked with a good friend of mine who runs a big accountancy firm. Funny enough, today he's literally just been named in the Forbes 30 under 30, so he's doing really well for himself. And he asked me to install this because he was my accountant and friend, but he asked me to install this in his business to see how it would work, and it had a massive effect as well because he was stuck doing all the selling at this point in his business, funnily enough, and I managed to remove him from that sales process, and it just made a huge difference because when we tried to remove him without this sales video in place, the close rate dropped massively because they weren't speaking to the founder anymore. There wasn't that luxury of speaking to the founder, and obviously he was really good at what he did anyway. So yeah, that was a big game changer, and now we're selling 5 to 10k packages, and I actually jumped on a lot of the calls and sold for him because I was testing the system and figuring everything out, and yeah, that went really well. So that was my first experience selling more high ticket packages between 5 to 10k. So I know it does definitely work, and I'm not a salesperson. I'm not really good at this, right? I'm pretty good, but I'm not like this smooth talking salesperson that you're probably used to seeing online, these objection handlers. I just love, I love training. I run a gym, I run the coaching business, and I enjoy business. I enjoy the back end of it. It definitely works. And on the gym side, we applied it then to the gym. So again, we've got reception staff. These are people that, it's their part-time job. It's not their full-time job. It's their part-time job. They're not salespeople at all, right? But when we actually applied this sales system, so again, if someone applied to become a gym member or anything like that, even though it was very low ticket, it massively increased the close rate of people that would actually join because they were now seeing a video of me walk them through everything, the founder of the gym, the owner of the gym, and every slide was built to cover exactly who they were, why this would benefit them, why we're different, what we offer. They were getting all that from me, instead of just having to walk into a gym and speak to a reception person that may or may not perform if they are up for it or not. Like, that's the reality of dealing with, people like that. So, and when I say that, I literally just mean, they're not salespeople. So they don't know how to handle these conversations. They're not trained, but it made a huge difference. So if you do run a service business online, I know for a fact it will make a huge difference. It will transform your sales process, increase your close rate. What I would like to do is there's two options for you. You can either go and watch the full course. I've got a free course on YouTube. I've also got it in my Not Sales Training, because it's literally called Not Sales Training, community on School, and the full course is there as well. So you will be able to watch that to really understand why it works, how to actually apply it to your business. And if you are interested in asking me questions or want to find out more about if we can build it for you, then there'll be a link below to actually message me on WhatsApp, and you can ask me any questions about it, and we can see if this is going to be right for your business specifically. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you subscribe if you like anything to do with growing a service business online, and hopefully this helps you. So thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.